sound. It is a weeping in the morning, imagine a feet. It is a weeping in the morning, imagine a feet. It is a double tapping man song. It is the champion sound. Okay.
Noun Square. This used to be contest Toshi time, so I just decided that we're gonna kind of go that route today. Retweet the room. DM your friends. Got a nice Saturday night light show for you guys.
Okay.
Only 3.5 minutes left. We could get a new bid. 3 minutes. Oh, the person has 20 nouns. I don't know. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Not 20 nouns.
20 ETH in the wallet, but not 20 nouns.
Not 20 nouns. I'm like, damn, that person's just going to get a great deal on a noun. Hello, everybody. Good evening, all.
GM,
GN, GA. I think Aussies are just like hitting lunchtime now, right, Ben?
Yeah, it's midday. So
yes.
I guess it's a GM still, right? Every day is a GM. Every time of day.
Every day is a GM. That's for sure.
It's always GM somewhere.
It's always GM somewhere. There's so many GM little quotes that we have. We're just so chuggy right now. Instead of live, laugh, love, GM is the new live, laugh, love, I think. So I just got to
don't make it cringe.
I got to get a new etched wood carving that just says GM that I hang in my kitchen. GM, everybody. We are here. 2 minutes left on the nouns auction. I'm watching it at nounclock.app. Pull that open in your browser if you haven't yet. You can also chat in there if you connect your wallet. 29.8 is the current bid. Doesn't look like this person has been. Oh no, they've been coming for this bid. Okay, a couple times. They really want this noun. This is their third bid. They're not letting this really cool, sort of like very femme trash can go. It is so cute.
Someone said it looks like the partner of the ugly DAO trash can.
Yeah, I think that was Toady last night saying ugly girlfriend.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame. It's got the arrow to go through the heart and everything. I think we should have pulled together some more ETH for this one.
I didn't even think about that. And then the ugly trash can is like a total nerd. So this one's kind of like a nerd as well.
Exactly.
Very cute.
Wearing the I'm in love
looks
t-shirt.
Like a gamer. This one's potentially a gamer.
Yeah. Trash gamer.
Trash. Absolute trash gamer. And the really cool thing is that FOMO is working again, knock on wood, but so everybody, by consensus actually chose this down. So that totally makes this so much more fun, knowing that we can sort of craft this again. So word on the streets is that WizardDAO is looking for another wizard hat. So I would never sway anyone to vote a certain way, except for every other time that we've played FOMO here. But I would say wizard hat if we see one. And then other than that, at this point in time, personal preference, because I think we've just done so good at knocking away at this list. Oh, we do have a 22 seconds here. Let me see if I can pull this countdown up.
It does look like also that Nas are a little bit excited and keen to start bidding as a community. So if we can FOMO skateboards, there's more likely that that's going to happen.
3 seconds here, folks. FOMO nouns on WTF.
Oh, here we go. We're playing.
Here we go. Playing again.
Nice
FOMO
watermelon.
nouns.
All right, we're playing the feud. Oh, I really like this watermelon, actually.
I was going to say I pinned a bunch of tweets, and then I realized Symbiotech was doing it as well. Sorry, man. I just started pinning straight over the top.
I got rid of the irrelevant ones, so we're good. No toothpaste. needed.
Nice, legend. Thank you. Yeah, I just switched the body back on.
We can double pin
That's
too.
perfect. Yeah.
I got some cool pins for the evening as well. That noun, I don't know, guys.
Yo chips.
Yo, chips.
It's ugly as.
I was gonna say this is an ugly now competitor.
It
really
It's
is.
the worst.
Drunken
Oh,
line.
all of these kind of,
Like
it's like,
the
yikes.
work
This is like a
That's the
professional
line.
mixer.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Wine. Not good at the time.
I kind of like this.
Game of lint.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Is that what that chain is?
The mask.
No.
Oh my god, that's a nice start.
It's a mask, but it looks like a Space Invader. So
We don't have many people on stage. If you want to jump on stage, stick your hand up and I'll pull
Get
you
up here. Nanophosphate.
oh, this one's fun.
Yeah,
pretty
vote
cool.
vote for me for that funky chicken.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, nice to see
Disco
you, Ryan.
chocolate.
Great to hear your voice for the first time. Oh, that was me. That was all me.
And we've all been muted.
Oh, that's a good looking copy.
We still don't have one, I want to say, of the copters.
I really like that FOMO's working again. It feels weird.
Right? It's like, oh, okay, everybody actually just like take a seat. This is happening. We're really choosing here.
Yeah, we are actually choosing again. This is crazy. I like it.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's a fancy wall of RGB.
That's kind of cool.
I'm giving it up.
Getting closer to consensus here.
We're inching ever closer.
Oh, no.
Iced coffee.
Yeah, I'm good on all the snowflakes. Thank you. I was dying laughing at the beach.
Oh, that's a beautiful pineapple.
That's for the no pineapple pizza people.
It's got like the monobrow or like the top bar on his.
I think we might get this one.
Oh,
Nope.
it's close.
Damn.
Viral shoes.
Viral pump. Yeah, nobody liked that one.
Aw, I like this guy. Cute. I feel like the zebra is so underrated.
Not if you're friends with Jarman.
Oh, yes, I was just going to say, but someone does rock the zebra.
He's like a huge advocate for the zebra. I hear about it every day.
The zebra maxi?
Yeah.
Only business zebras.
Sartoshi, did you hear the news about today or no?
Hey?
Which news?
Sartoshi's back.
Oh, what? Really?
Whoa, what?
What do you mean? Where? When? How? Why? Who?
He made a drop yesterday.
Did you cover all the bases up?
Yeah.
Was it the Rainbow Zorb?
Yeah, was it?
No.
Was it...
I like this one.
Wait, what was the drop? I'm so,
So I guess he ran out of money then after the leaving drop.
I feel like that's what everybody's first response has been so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He was like, bye forever, guys. Damn,
but
I thought that couple 100,000 was going to last me a lot longer.
Yeah, I love that. Bye forever. 4 months later. Oh, I think this Nounish Mingo like exists.
The drop was free. I'll give him that.
Not those noggles though.
But it's 100%
yeah.
confirmed him.
All right. Wow, that is almost an exact copy of Noun 276.
Yeah, right. Prop's not here either.
Well, we should get it for her, and then she doesn't need delegation.
Well, yeah, she was just looking exactly.
Make sure to get to NOMO, by the way. WTF.
Shit.
Go straight to NOMO.
I agree, right?
Anything else?
What number was the other one you were saying? 267.
We've got 30 seconds, so you've got time. NOMO.WTF.
Don't
choose your character
until you're there.
Yeah, Toshi, he put like 10 ETH in his wallet, and he's bought like 20 MFers. So yeah, he's back.
And
look at that piano for Woody.
The old wallet, or is it just a man who seems to be perceived as
Sartoshi.eth. He released a piece yesterday.
That is traumatizing. Talk about
Wow, there's a double Jupiter on
Okay,
this.
NOMO.
All right, NOMO. What are you going for? I'm going for the food.
I'm going for the
I want
Rainbow
the
Jupiter.
piano for Woody for Noun Sounds dropping yesterday.
Oh yeah, I really like the piano actually.
Why did
Oh wait,
no
we
one
didn't
like
get
the
Neil
double
Pineapple,
noggles?
right? Neil Pineapple's
Yeah.
good.
I do like the double noggles generally, but it has to be like, I don't know. It's not that I don't like the double noggles, it's that I like other things more. Like every time there's a double noggles up, there are other things that I want more than it. And it
I
bumps
just
me
want
out.
that monobrow pineapple. So good.
The pineapple is really nice.
Or it's
Neil
like the
Pineapple
AVO
Lite.
just have
I
a
feel
top
like we've had
bar.
a lot of. I feel like we've had a lot of pink backgrounds.
Yeah.
We have, yeah.
Yeah, the last 10 or
No,
so has been red.
no.
I'm getting the
Oh,
boost
I
now.
love this.
I'm
Sorry.
done.
Losing my piano.
Oh,
Ooh.
man.
Hey,
Okay, you gotta
nice.
choose.
Oh, it's
What
a
are we
good little
doing?
face-off, isn't it?
I'm going for the piano just because Noun Sounds.
Okay,
Yeah.
NOMO.WTF. I'm going for the
Let's
piano.
go.
But
Oh,
Because
it's
we
I,
don't
pretty
have
I
any
think
even.
the
backgrounds.
I think the pineapple might
Oh,
win.
X
Oh no, the
Lite.
Yeah.
pineapple's getting away.
I'm
It's
not
not
gonna
even
complain.
close.
It is.
Okay, fine. I'm just gonna stop.
I'm
Because...
happy with the pineapple though. Like I want the piano, but I'm okay with
Right.
this. Deeply inhales copium. I'm fine with
That really just gives you a second win there, NOMO Nouns. Don't forget to mint your NOMO Noun. It just popped up on the screen. Can't wait to
Oh,
see who does it
boom.
first.
Triple
Robot
mint.
Fish
Let's see
Girl.
which number I get. This frame wallet's a little slower than my other wallets, which is a shame. I keep getting like 4, 5, 6 at the earliest, I think.
I got 1 and 2 the other day, finally.
Nice. Using MetaMask or what were you using?
Yeah, MetaMask.
Crazy.
yeah.
Wow.
I usually get like
I know
2 or 3.
it's very
That's nuts, eh?
MetaMask. I feel like I'm very pro Meta, just an accidental sponsor at all times, talking about them, love them. Back to more important information. I feel like I'm one of those people, like you could drop shocking news on me and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And in the background, I'm just like crying, screaming, vomiting, like can't handle it. Like I'm in shock right now. That Sartoshi is back. That's incredible. And
Yeah,
back.
I bought a new MFer today once I found out, so I had to support.
Wow.
Yeah, 4, 5,
excited.
6 again. Damn.
Old
You got
school
4, 5, 6?
Optoshi knowledge.
Yeah.
Optoshi actually comes from a derivative project that I did like months and months and months ago when I was trying to like practice doing solidity contracts. And Optoshi is actually the founder of SOBMFers. Okay.
I was waiting for you to say that. I didn't want to say it for you.
I'm pretty sure the first time we ever talked, I like gabbed about it for like a really long time.
Yeah. I
must have been there.
You can see the remnant bones of this project just laying around OpenSea in people's wallets. But truly, I think just the DApp is down, but I think the SOBs are still there. And I honestly was going to make a free mint because it's just so fun. And maybe it's the perfect time now because back. And then maybe we can play with the wallets and stuff. I mean, the contract apps.
Yeah, they started like a drop, the MFers, like 2 weeks ago. It's like an art drop. And then all of a sudden there was like rumors, and then obviously,
epic.
Yeah,
so
I'm
cool.
excited.
What was the drop? What is the art? Can we get a pinned tweet somewhere? I just pinned a tweet as well.
Yeah, I can pin it for you. It's called. It's like a season 1 of cards. So they're doing cards all the time, like art cards every couple of weeks. I just pinned it.
Cars?
So they're all cards. They're like animated GIFs. Cards.
Oh, gotcha.
So they've released 3 of them so far.
So freaking cool. Speaking of animations, really cool animations that dropped today. I also pinned at the top a tweet from 4156. That is the new animation that came out. I know that Art of Conviction was like leading this. Someone please remind me. I'm looking now for the name of Ordinary Folk. Yes, Ordinary Folk. This was a successfully passed proposal with the NounsDAO. I've been so wondering what they were going to do with this, and they definitely delivered. So there's a full-blown 3-minute animation explaining nouns. I would love for, if you haven't seen it yet, to go check that out and sort of like try to be unbiased about it and pretend like you don't know what a noun is and see sort of how that reads to you and how it is. I love it. I think it's so cool. What did you guys think about it?
I kind of like it. I think at first I was a little bit taken aback, but then I was like, well, I mean, this is cool. There's a whole bunch of it that I really do like. So I think it's just the voice threw me off mainly. But yeah, I think this is something, and it's also, I'm not really the target audience, right? So I think
Mm-hmm.
like I'm going to have to show it to a whole bunch of my friends who are not noun pilled and just see what their reactions are. When I show the Nounish Nas video, that one comes across really well. People are like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, this one looks really amazing, though. Like, it's cool.
Completely. I almost feel like, too, like, again, you're so right, too, about it being, like, specific for an audience. I love the Nounish videos, of course. I love all the videos that people have been sort of producing, and I do know that they dive a little bit more into sort of like the Web3 side of everything and the DAO and governance and voting. But I think for like a really general audience, like the most possible general audience, which essentially would just be like a family, maybe it's the mom or the dad at home. I don't know. There's kids they have that watch the Lego movie, they like that, and then like they can like take in something like this. And so I do
Yeah,
find it fascinating, almost like the language was sort of talking to whoever's viewing it as like it's very like kid like. It's like when you feel like a child, right? But
yeah,
I think like
it feels like fun, like the inner child kind of fun, for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. I think
Yeah,
that's like probably the best tone as far as like when you have like brand new information. I did notice too, like in certain parts of it, they say it's powered by like blockchain technology, and then boom, move on to the next thing. Like, they fund builders and stuff, and then it'll say something else about it being on chain or something, and it basically like says the word as just like this is why, and then it just like goes on. It doesn't go into depth about that, but I think that that's good. You got to have some things that don't necessarily go in depth about that, so you could have other videos that do, because I feel like for a general audience,
yeah, exactly.
there's so much going on.
Yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
sure
I think any kind of digestible and fun videos are going to be super valuable.
like you definitely experienced this at NFT Fest. But when people come up to you, or maybe someone that's like, oh no, I don't know what nouns are, like, what is that? It's like you almost nearly have to gauge like who you're talking to see
Yeah,
like, okay, where do I
absolutely.
start?
We that was a super interesting thing about it, actually, because it was a multi-day event, and I think we spoke on the first day, but we had like a whole little area set up, and whenever we were standing around there, and like anyone could come up and chat, and just seeing the flow of people and the way that they would ask questions and how far conversations would go, and then people chiming in, like, it was really interesting. And I ended up meeting like Solidity devs and chatting with programmers and engineers, and then also a few other people that were like the brains behind building other communities and guilds of other communities and stuff like that, and was just like, wow, this is crazy that how people are attracting based on the particular information that you're talking about. But yeah, because that we had a wide range of us there, this crew of Aussies that we had there, quite differing in their perspective, and like all ties together really well. So anyone that came up and started chatting on anything, there was someone there that was able to address that kind of level of discussion. And yeah, it was pretty fascinating because that's just something like exactly like you said. Someone comes up and just based on the first kind of questions and the little intro to starting to chat, you're kind of like, oh, you'd be good chatting to this guy, or you'd be good chatting to them about this, and you can kind of shuffle around even your own conversation. Like, do you start with like how big and fancy the treasury is and how much they go for and all that sort of thing, or do you talk about the technology behind it, or you talk about the art behind it, or you talk about the initiatives that are happening through the proposals, and like just get straight into governance aspects like Nouncil. I was actually shilling the Noun Square mostly because I was like, there's so much to actually learn, and there's tons of extensions, and depending on your interest and your target interest, you can find that through the Noun Square by tuning into the show and checking out the other 40 shows we do every week. And it was really cool though to be able to kind of gauge people's kind of area of expertise or understanding and try and address that directly.
That actually does
I'm
make me
about
think,
this
because
too,
I've
at
been...
NFT Fest, like, did anyone know what a noun was or know about NounsDAO?
Yes, there was. It was interesting. It was kind of like this thing that, some people were like, "Oh my god, I just heard about this and it is insane. Like, can you tell me more?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, let's chat." But there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh man, I've been looking at nouns, but it never really clicked, and now it's making so much sense." And so there was people that have been kind of watching, and then were kind of blown away by the style of activation that we did. Just sort of rocking up and having all this giant pixel art to get the photos amongst and everything's kind of fun. And we handed out, like when we were going to do our panel, we had Mr. Seeks cruise the audience and hand out noggles to everybody in the audience, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's happening?" So it's just different to the standard speakers and panels that you would normally see, right? Like people will start to pay attention because of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of said like it felt like a Nouns event, because I guess Nouns sponsored as one of the main sponsors, and we had like a booth activation and did a panel, and giving out merch to everybody. So everyone's walking around with Nouns tote bags and putting all their other stuff in those. And it was really cool. And I think it's something that we should definitely do more often.
Yeah, that photo is so cool. You can only hope for those iconic photos where there's a lot of people wearing noggles in them.
Yeah.
Because like one pair is silly, and always like catches someone's attention. But obviously the more pairs in one photo, like even the crazier it looks and stuff too. So
I
my
know,
favorite.
and we just got everyone wearing them. It looked insane. We're like, "Oh my god, we need to do that like band on stage photo, quick! Everyone get together and
Yes.
try and get this photo." And already by then, because the ones in the audience you couldn't see through, they were just like cardboard ones that we had made up real quick. And
Oh my God,
so they threw them all on for a minute, but then by like you get kind of uncomfortable. You're like, they must have taken the photo by now, I guess. And then so some people have taken it off, and the speeches run back to back across 3 rooms. So people, as soon as we stopped speaking, people started walking away and stuff. But yeah, I was actually blown away because I sat through a few speeches and was like, yeah, this is cool. That we're not going to have to speak to a full room. But then the room filled up, and I forgot where I was, who I was, what I was talking about. I need to practice being on stage. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a whole other thing too when you get the mic there, and then like, are you talking loud enough into the mic? And where do you look? What do you do with your hands? But really cool to. I'm sure the people that did know about nouns just beelined over to you guys once they saw those noggles. I've had some similar experiences.
That's right. I think just the presence that we had there made everyone, regardless of if they knew or not, if they didn't, they were like, "What is this? What's happening? I need to watch this one." And then doing it early was probably a good idea because then it had more people questioning like what's going on and wanted to come over and chat more afterwards. And we kind of invited them like to come and talk to us and grab any of us. We're all open to chatting. And so it was a busy few days of just kind of networking and explaining nouns on so many different levels. A lot of fun though.
So much fun. I often find too that with like more of like a crypto or NFT native event, the question, or I guess the new piece of nouns that someone might learn about, even if they know about nouns, was that you don't need a noun to start building on it.
Yeah,
And
that was like the kind of the motto of what was happening there, because a lot of people that did know about nouns had no clue that they could get involved without owning a noun. And just explaining a bit of my personal journey so far kind of opened their eyes to like, oh wow, that's you can do like literally just about everything any nouner could, except like goes, hey, this is sitting in my wallet. That's the only thing you can't do. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean,
so
it was really
crazy
cool.
that people were also saying that to you as well. And in that same like energy, people that had actually like built something, maybe they already built it in AR nouns. Like I just met someone at Art Basel that did that. Maybe they've already built like a metaverse that has like nounish noggles and stuff, but they hadn't even told anybody and they didn't necessarily know how to do that. Like I've met multiple people that
Yeah.
have like these projects and I'm like, you have to go put this in the discourse immediately and tell people that you've done this. Like, I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of unaccounted for projects out there because right now we're sort of almost, if trying to get any statistics at all, we're looking at the projects that we know have been funded or that are on chain or that are in prop house or small grants or DCS. And like we're grabbing all of that information, but there's a whole wealth of data and people building nounish things and people that we just haven't even met yet here, or
Yeah.
interviewed or are totally nounish, just kind of like on their own, which I find fascinating.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly that. There was, people that have already built things as well that are like, oh, wow, what we've done fits the nounish culture so well. And, the way we've built this game and the artwork and everything really lends itself. And they can basically just morph it into a whole nounish thing now. And seeing them kind of go from something that they'd kind of almost reached the whole concept of and vibe that nouns gets across
Mm.
without realizing. And then when they realize, oh, this is the missing piece, I need to put noggles in this. It was pretty cool to see that happen with people that have been working on other projects as well.
So freaking cool. That's why I think like every time something new comes out or we meet new people, such as Ginger and Tonic, the acapella group that just sang for us,
Yeah,
on the Noun Square. So
I got
cool.
to meet Becco. She's on the
Yeah.
Nounish team. So like, yeah, we when I saw that she was a guest on here doing music, I was like, what the hell? I had no idea. That's really cool.
So,
Um,
so many
yeah.
talented people. I would even, everyone here in the audience or listening back later, all of this totally matters because you never know when you're going to come in or decide to put in your first prop or really go for a new idea. Now would be the perfect time. I just pinned at the top. Prop House round 13 open currently right now. Make sure you can get your proposal in before, I would say, like tomorrow at 6. Like you got to make that happen. Also, if this particular round doesn't really speak to you, maybe you're a holidays person. Maybe you want to do something that's like a a nice good for the holiday season, in your city. There's another prop house simultaneously open. I know Seneca, has really been pushing this one to see sort of how many cities around the world we could get to participate. I love this one. I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do. But go ahead and find the Nounish Holidays, proposals also open for that. They want 30 cities celebrating in their city, doing something, giving back, um, make some food for somebody, go get someone a hug. I don't know. I don't know what you're comfortable with.
Give them a noun.
Yeah, open up your crypto wallets and give, until you just can't
Just
give
give
anymore.
away a full
No, but
noun.
really, I think
Yeah,
it's a really
that's the good
Huh?
tip
That
there.
means you.
oh my
Also,
gosh.
I want to, while we're talking about things and rounds and voting and things like that, I've got a prop live on Nouns at the moment, 185, which is aiming to get allocated 50 of the Nouns Vision glasses for the Noun Square, 50 for NounsDAO, and 50 for the Nouns esports team. So I think anyone here that has delegate votes or is a Nouner would appreciate the support there because at the moment these NFTs are sitting unminted, unredeemed. Sorry, they've been minted to the Nouns Treasury, sitting unredeemed, and we're requesting 150 out of the 500 that were allocated to Nouns to proliferate them with probably three of the best communities of proliferators out there, in my opinion. I think we've got the ability to get these in front of a lot of people, into a lot of films, and I think the lasting effects will be much more nounish than sitting in the Nouns Treasury unredeemed. So, yeah, if you've got any voting power or are able to acquire that, then yeah, let's go. Get some votes in.
Everyone is about to be styled down with the Nouns Vision glasses. super chic. So cool too. I definitely have gone into like anytime I see a sunglasses store, I go inside just to make sure and just to like double check that I'm not crazy. But even designers, no one has the square glasses, guys. These
Nobody.
are no one has them, and they like
Nobody.
literally like sometimes people will just be looking at them like what is even happening there. But you know that since you haven't seen them, that it must be something cool, and they don't look like crazy. And even like the toy fun ones, like people love, but like these ones look like sunglasses. You wear them like sunglasses. How do they fit you, Ben?
They
The
don't fit me
nouns,
very well.
they're awesome.
I've got
They're
a
so
massive head.
nice.
They're one size fits everyone except me. It seems to be that they look
This makes
really
perfect
good.
sense for some reason. I couldn't tell you why this makes perfect
You have to
sense, but
pinch
it
the little
does.
nosy things.
It's that robot, the robot head. It's too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
They've
I can
jammed too many
relate.
chips
Trust
in
me.
or something. You know what I've found though, which is really interesting. I found a pair of sunnies, just like a regular pair of sunnies at a sunglasses store or surf shop anyway, and their logo is 2 pixels side by side, one hollow, one solid. So it looks like almost like noggles already, and the shape of them are kind of square. I was like, these are the most square sunnies I'm going to find. And they were actually super comfortable on my head. So I'm going to approach this company and see if they're willing to square out like the bottom right, the bottom corners and put a
Nice.
whole section on the top and just make like proper squares out of this exact same shape in terms of the arms and the nose bridge and everything. And then we'll have, and hopefully, if they can pull that off, and I can manage to convince them to do something like that, then we'll have like a regular Sunnies level as well. They're like I guess 170, 180 bucks Australian, so maybe 100, 110 US or something like that
Oh,
at that
that's not
price point.
bad.
Yeah,
Am I
so
the only
like
person
if we
that's
can
never
do
heard
that,
heard the word sunnies before? I've never heard that before.
really, yeah,
That's
Sunnies.
that's a yeah.
I guess that's an Aussie
No,
thing. I didn't know.
It's an Aussie
Sunnies.
thing.
Get your sunnies. No, I literally there's something about them. By the way, just at any point in time, please yell out if the POAP window is open because I missed it yesterday. I'm really bad at getting that window down. But we have the right POAP people here just in case.
Oh yeah, no sweat. I usually edit it live anyway, and I think Ryan does too, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
we did
Oh
that
no,
yesterday.
the word yesterday was just like crazy, and so luckily, like Robot changed it like right before, but it was just hilarious.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't.
They give you crazy words when you make them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you've got to do it in UTC. The time has to be
Yeah,
UTC. So like it can
4
throw
hours
everyone off
ahead.
usually. It's probably going to be
Oh.
like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
Or
I
3
literally
a.m.
like brain is that gif of that lady like trying to do math. Like I can't do the TC thing. I don't understand. But what I do
It's like
understand is that I
149
know that there's
UTC
going to
right
be a
now.
surge this year. Like you watch it, like square sunglasses, and we're all here going to know that it happened because of nouns. Someone like asked at one of these NFT events at Art Basel, they're like, "What are those?" And like looked at the noggles, and we kind of explained what the noggles were, what NounsDAO was. And then she leaves, and the guy next to us is like, "How are you not going to recognize the most iconic glasses in all of crypto?" And he was like offended that this lady didn't know what was going on. But I saw that as a complete sign. I'm like, are nouns like, is this like a Gucci moment? Like we are literally like that. Like, and I think like that exclusivity piece of it where people maybe didn't know they could participate without owning a noun is going to be this next like bridge we cross over through this year where I think that's going to be like old hat news. Like, and so I think we're going to see a lot of like brand new props. We have seen a trend in the amount of proposals that have been going up. I think we're going to see new owners of nouns because people are going to want to put in proposals. But those are just kind of my thinkings lately about everything going down within the ecosystem.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think also should mention encouraging people that don't have nouns to get involved. Probably less in the discussion of like how to vote, because until you've got delegations or a noun to vote with, then it's welcome discussion obviously, but just build some stuff and get people that have votes to put proposals on chain for you and make things happen. I think that's the power move as someone without a noun, rather than getting involved just to pick apart existing spending. I think that's just it's valuable, I guess, but at the same time, like, spend your time building more shit. If you don't like what's happening, put in some better ones.
Well, I think if the person that delegates you a noun is trusting you to vote, I don't think it's anybody else's business what you're doing with it either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my stance exactly. If you're a delegate, you vote however you want, and the owner can undelegate in about 3 seconds. So if you've done something against their will, then they're obviously going to undelegate.
Well, and it's
Well, I think
interesting.
a noun is dropped or been released now, so you can vote anonymously too with your delegation or your nouns. So,
oh, interesting.
I think it's a noun.xyz, I believe.
Oh,
and it's live now.
Run wild now.
I would love to actually talk to the people again. I know we did an interview with them pre-launch, but it'd be cool to talk to them again because it is anonymous, but not really. Like, it shows you how many nouns you have, and like there's basically, we all have a list of, like, there's like 3 other websites that list noun owners with wallet addresses. I think it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, if they have 3 or 4 nouns, there's probably only a handful of people that have 3 to 4 nouns. So that's kind of like my only thing. And then anyone that sort of has a larger amount, you kind of know the style of how they speak anyways. I feel like it should be like hyper anonymous. If we're going to go that way, we should go all the way. Like, it shouldn't say how many nouns that person has, but it could do something like even saying like someone is a nouner versus a delegate, is kind of makes things a little bit obvious, I think. But maybe that's just me, and maybe I'm reading way too much into that, but
yeah, I mean, early on like this, when there's only so many nouns and so many active people using them, you can kind of get a feel for who people are anyway, I think. It's going to be those rogue single ones that you just don't know, like the non-wallets that own them, and yeah.
And
they just like write in there like, I hate you. No.
Well,
we know who
I
that
think
would
the
be.
most frustrating part is like they're welcome to like come build and like do cool shit, but they just want to. It's weird, man. They'd rather not get involved. So I find the whole thing very stupid. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not shy. I'm not shy. I'll say it outright.
Really? We haven't noticed.
I think some people are really good at like taking an idea and running with it and like organizing the hell out of it and sticking with it and like making it happen until it happens sort of in their vision. But other people, it takes them a little bit longer. You gotta find, maybe ways that it's not working, like a lot of ways it's not working before you find the way that it's working. Maybe you like focus on things you shouldn't be focusing on, like other people and their projects, because you're too scared to dive into your own or something. Like, there's just like a million different like normal human things that could be happening. But that's why it's
subtle shade,
because almost like every like point made is like a point that I would give to someone to prove that a DAO was actually working or was like decentralized. So that's all I have to say about that. I have like remained pretty quiet about that whole situation, or people having issues in that field. I do see that we have a new person up here on stage, or maybe new to me, or maybe I haven't seen you in a while. Just another MFer. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm pretty new to this stage show. You're not, imagine. Can you hear me?
Your leader came back today. Are you so excited?
He did. I saw that. I saw that. Yes. Sometimes I call him Daddy.
Yeah. Okay. Daddy's home. Daddy, we thought he left and everyone was just traumatized. We threw a funeral basically, and now he's here again at last.
It's a typical motherfucker thing to do. I mean, it's exactly what we do, right?
When I posted, I was going to say, Dad, is that you? And I totally didn't do it. I should have.
You should have.
Like I went into the Discord because I heard the rumblings, and I was like, "Is that all?" All I wrote was, "Is Daddy back?" And someone was like, "Yeah." That was it.
It's been wild in that chat today. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a question about Prop House versus the other way that Nouns distributes funds. So, I heard someone explain it once, and I wasn't satisfied at all with their answer about, where how the funds are, how it's different. So let's take a project like, I think his name is Remixer. It's a guy, Jacob. He's doing a clothing line, and I think he got a grant with ETH from the NounsDAO.
Yes.
Quite a large sum. And so point being, like, I don't think that came from Prop House, or if it did, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but
No, that was an on-chain proposal.
Yeah, that
right.
was a main DAO.
Okay, so there we go. Like, explain to me how an on-chain proposal, a main DAO proposal, is different than a prop house proposal. Yeah, and the reason I ask is because I think understanding the Nouns ecosystem and DAO, workings is paramount to understanding how the Moonbirds DAO grants are going to work and all that.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so excited for Moonbirds, by the way, and I hope that the community has been willing to sort of remain really, really open-minded about all the changes to the CC0. I just feel like you guys are going to see a lot of things happen that may not have been possible without that. But what a perfect question. We were just talking about this in the space, but I think the biggest difference is for Prop House, just to admit to that, you only need a wallet address. You do not need to be a noun holder. Noun holders, delegates of noun, the Nouncil, which is a body of builders within nouns. They're all sort of nounish people. They control at any point in time 11 to 14 nouns. They vote. So nouners and noun holders will get to vote on proposals that come through Prop House. But as far as submitting to Prop House, you do not need a noun, and you do not actually need 2 nouns, which is what is currently required to post a proposal on chain. So let's say you have your 2 nouns. You're probably not going to go through to Prop House unless it's a smaller ask. We kind of tend to see that Prop House is this really fantastic entry point for builders and creatives and artists, because we see these 1 ETH, 2 ETH, 5 ETH, and then sometimes those 10 to 20 ETH rounds that are more for developers or people that are building a protocol. But Prop House is definitely an entry point of, hey, I want to dabble in nouns. I myself, back in March for the very first round ever, was in that Prop House. And so I have been participating with it since the beginning, and I did not receive a noun delegation. I currently just have one person that has delegated me their noun vote. If you have questions about delegation, we can also talk about that, but I didn't receive that until September. So I had been actually building with and doing things within nouns for quite a while, for a few months before participating in the governance in any way. So again, on chain.
I think too, also should point out, there's essentially at the moment, for the primarily the most time, there's been 3 ways: through small grants, which is a discretionary funding group of people, and then through Prop House, which is kind of like a builder sourcing protocol where you can submit proposals via wallet, or through on-chain proposals directly to the DAO, which you need to own nouns or have delegated nouns to do so. But recently, there's been another pod of a group put together that got funded by an on-chain proposal called DCS to kind of bridge the gap even further, which is another discretionary group of people that can fund from a hot wallet that was funded by NounsDAO. So basically, everything originates from on-chain proposals where the ETH in the main treasury gets distributed to these other platforms and groups of people to then distribute in different ways. So people that don't have nouns or delegations are able to participate in that way as well. And you can learn about small grants, Prop House, and proposals, on-chain proposals at nouns.center/funding. There's a bit of information there to read about each one, and kind of gives you an idea of the amount of ETH kind of available during any of those rounds, or those if you go those routes.
Yeah. I think it's also important to point out that when you put a prop on chain,
from on chain, because even the current Prop House round that's going, the ETH prizes that are given out through Prop House were funded through a proposal on chain, a mandate basically for Prop House. And so I can probably find that number for you here in the proposals, but everything really does come from on chain. And what we're seeing with sort of Prop House and the Noun strategic funding works is these groups that have come together again, just like how Ben said, to fund different sort of niches within the Nouns ecosystem.
Okay, perfect. I mean, that was a great explanation, so I appreciate that. That was a lot more comprehensive than the explanation I got. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you taking the question.
Of course. Can I ask you a question as well?
Sorry.
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Well, I'm just curious, are there like a lot of Moonbirds holders that are showing interest in this governance piece?
Sorry,
Like,
salad. The answer is there are some. I would not say it's like overwhelming, but
mhm.
there, and I'm one. I mean, I didn't want to come up here and like show my project, but actually, my project involves nouns and other CC0 projects. So,
We love CC0.
yeah, I fucking CC0. And anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I would say, and we have something called the Kubernetes Sub-Parliament, which is kind of tasked with discussing philosophical purposes of a DAO and sort of how it should function. The purpose being to educate people, right? I think that's one of the things we're great at in the space is like integrating information. Like we all love to be early adopters, like futurists, technologists, and like thinkers. We like accelerated thinking. So and just having that Kubernetes DAO is an example of that. We're trying to educate the community as much as possible about how to properly use a DAO because if the tool's not used well, it's obviously not going to be good. So, yeah, but I think we're holding our breath a little bit for the final sort of construction and architecture of the DAO. So that's what's going on as far as I can tell. But feel free to ask any other follow-ups on it if you're not educated on it. I'll do my best.
Did you have an opportunity to listen in on the space where this was discussed, or where the Moonburns and proof ecosystem was discussed around this in the Little Noun space?
The one where was it Sadiq and AK Stevie dropped in?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I think I caught like the last third of it. I think, and also, I mean, so no, not the whole thing, but it was a lot of reiteration of what was discussed from like the Discord chats and like the Moonbird spaces. But I think my co-host April was actually one of the people who co-hosted that show. I could be wrong. Do you
Yeah,
guys
I
I
know?
think,
believe she led the
yep.
discussion there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, April, she has like the Noggles, I believe, in her name.
I forget. She keeps changing it up. Let me go look at what.
She was great. If so, if we're talking about the same person, that was a great space.
Yeah, April.
I do love these crossover spaces with different communities and stuff too, because I think that we have so much to learn still. We have so much to learn ourselves about the governance piece and participation and who's active and participating and how do you get people to be more active and what are these solutions if people aren't active, such as these delegation things. Like these are things that I think will be so cool for Moonbirds to have as an example, especially from a DAO that's already been running for like a year and a quarter now, nearly a year and a half, which is just so crazy. And we are so like you. I think just a group of people who are always like very forward thinking and trying to understand like the depths of how this DAO and a DAO in general could work. But I think that once you kind of dive into how nouns are doing it, it's so hard to understand like other NFT companies now. I'm speaking completely personally. It's not financial advice, but it feels so natural the way it runs, the voting, the daily auction that's sort of really creating this very slow pace for people to really onboard themselves in a way that matters for their participating either through voting or through actually putting up proposals, which is like the big plus, or connecting the people that they know or these creators to being able to put up proposals. So there is a lot going on here, and a lot at work and stuff too. So just an endless amount to learn, and I think I'm just excited for Moonbirds taking that step forward, especially with the CC0. I think it's just so cool, and I hope that your community feels comfortable like coming over to Nouns at any point in time. We have these daily shows. If you guys ever want to ask questions, or maybe we could have a really awesome, I've been dying for like a Noun Square Moonbird space. I think you guys have a lot of talented people in your group, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about everything going down with this big change.
Yeah, I would love that. If I can help you facilitate that in any way, let me know.
Oh hell yeah, let's do that.
Sure.
Yeah, hop in the Discord.
I'd also
Yeah.
share that the one aspect of Prop House is that we have a number of communities that are operating out of their own treasuries on Prop House. So it's not necessarily funded by the Nouns, but they're using the protocol and structure as a vehicle to
Yeah.
distribute their own, like the MFers and UMA and several others.
Nice.
That's one thing I was going to say earlier. I was getting rugged, but the other way that Prop House differs from the main on-chain proposals, Prop House has funding rounds for a set amount of funding. So, like right now, there is a funding round for 5 prizes of 1 ETH. So you are bidding on a set amount of funding. Whereas when you go on an on-chain proposal, you determine like, oh, this is how much I'm asking for. With Prop House, the amount is set and you are applying for that set amount, typically. So that's the other difference that I don't think anybody mentioned earlier. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a good distinction for sure.
Do you guys find that one method works better over another, or they both have their purpose?
Both have their purpose.
I think they both have different different values for sure. Like for example, an on-chain proposal can fund the development of a platform like Prop House, and then even houses on Prop House to distribute rewards that way. But Prop House is kind of like a builder sourcing platform, which will attract many more people because it's easier to understand how people can get involved because there's mandates. It's sort of like apply to this round that has this target focus and this amount of ETH is up for grabs. All you need is a wallet. And people are, oh, wow, yeah, I mean, I can come up with ideas for this and submit the proposals that way. So, yeah, they're definitely valuable in both directions for sure.
It's also much
I
more
mean,
accessible.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you've got the discretionary funding stuff like small grants or NSFW. They've been able to, by topping up their hot wallet, basically people can be like, yo, there's this thing happening today that I need to like do. It's going to cost 2.5 ETH or whatever it is, and if they like the idea, it looks like it's going to proliferate nouns, and it seems valuable, then they can literally just send a multi-sig transaction straight away and make things happen last minute, and can do retro
That's huge.
rewards as well. So like if you've done something nowish and you go like, oh, it would be nice to be paid for this thing, you can kind of just hit up small grants and show them what you've done and kind of proof of work, and then they'll decide whether to send you some ETH or not.
Do you guys feel like the delegation gets overly political?
Well, it hasn't really for a long time, and at the moment there's more discussion about how delegates are using their votes. Some people seem to have this opinion that if you've put a proposal up yourself, then you shouldn't be able to use your delegated votes to vote on your own proposal. But I say that's a social rule. I think rules are embedded in the code, right? If you're able to, then you can. And I think by trying to set social boundaries like that, it's just like a weird social policing that one person's line in the sand is different to someone else's. And I think basically if there's any kind of laws or rules, and when it comes down to those kind of politics, it's pretty much a waste of time. Like if you want that kind of thing to be set in stone, then it should be written in the code. So I mean, there's discussions around this aspect at the moment, which is kind of the most political aspect that I've been exposed to in my time in Nouns so far, I would say.
Got it. Thanks for the answer. Yeah, interested to see how this all works out with Moonbirds, because I think one thing, and correct me if you guys see this differently, but one thing that I see differently about the Moonbirds thing is we have like known figureheads, right? We have these like, I mean, but maybe I'm wrong about that, right? Like Punk 6529, and who's the other one? 416 something. Who's the other?
4156. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're I would say they're held in, obviously they're up there in terms of like just social hierarchy, but would you say that there are nouns you can point to that are like, these are the, well, I guess it would be the people who hold the multi-sig over the DAO, over the on-chain proposals. Would you say that's true?
Well, the actual DAO in nouns, the governance in the wallet, the treasury is all governed by the noun owners. So the original nounders have 10% of the nouns for the first 5 years. So they control in terms of votes, but it's not in a multi-sig, so they don't really have that same thing. But yeah, absolutely, there is like that social hierarchy kind of just gets put in place by people naturally, I think, in any kind of situation in nature. To be honest, like in nature environment has this thing, especially with humans, where hierarchies just start to fall into place because some people just are born like vocal in their opinions, and then others are quieter and tend to just follow along. Or then you've got the quiet action ones, but then you've got the people that are like deep thinkers and have profound words to say that people really get revelations from themselves. And I think like just naturally these hierarchies form in social structures, and that's kind of the interesting part about a DAO like this, where there's a set in stone governance structure, but how the people are socially placed in the hierarchy can have different effects. Like for example, if 4156 and the nounders vote with their nouns up front on day one of 5 days of voting, that could easily sway the rest of the voters deciding which way they vote, because they're like, well, the nounders support this. Like they're either going to be like, I'm going to go with it, or I'm going to go against it, or I'm just going to think for myself. But there's people in all of those different categories, I think, that are going to be influenced by others.
Do the founding leaders, do they ever like broadcast? They ever do spaces?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
One of them was actually just hanging out in here with us a little bit ago. They're very, I would say, involved in as far as like, you'll even see them like retweeting projects that come out through nouns and stuff too. So they're, around, I think like exactly what Ben was saying about this natural thing sort of happening, even naturally, like from a developer side, an art side, and even a DAO side, like basically with this group of individuals who may or may not just be complete strangers to each other prior to this, like what they pulled off together in creating NounsDAO is pretty fascinating. And then, all of these discussions we're even having about delegation and like, should this be this way or that way, like is happening because of this protocol that they put out like nearly a year and a half ago, like before anyone was talking about DAOs, or even what people were trying to understand what the hell a DAO was, and like how is voting going to be a utility. And then like to this point now where we literally have like, I think that one of the main utilities of NounsDAO and holding their NFTs is this governance piece. And who knew that we would be saying that? But I feel like people are pretty thankful for that. People are pretty thankful that the entire protocol itself is CC0 and can be forked, and that the nouns have been pushing that option for people since day one. There's a lot of auctions that are out there on the market right now, and then nouns.build itself like exists based off of this and the forking of the code and stuff too. So it is sort of one of those things too. Like I feel like if anyone's touched this code, like forked it in any way, like made a derivative project, have had a prop house pass or anything, or have done anything within the ecosystem, these people who kind of provided that by just creating it in the first place, you're always going to feel a certain way towards them. You're always going to be like, yes, like, thank you. Like you finally, it definitely feels like in this climate too, where we're almost taught to like, don't trust your NFT crypto community leaders in a way. Like, I just feel like it's the complete opposite here. Like, even like massive decisions. I know Moonbirds themselves have had to go through huge change and still accept that. I would say that the Discord, the Nouns Discord, the main Discord shutting down was like a massive change, because it was a place for like a few hundred people, were going for their information intake and to talk to people and to connect. And so I think that it was just this really great example of their constant intent and like trying to think of ways to stay decentralized. I mean, it doesn't get more like real than that. It very much reminds me of like someone that's just like invented something and is continuing to like just look at it to see how it could be better instead of abandoning it and then going off to something else. So it's cool that they're continuing to push this, experimental DAO and seeing what it can do. Who knows? Like, again, I think that that's another thing that people often talk about who are outside of the Nouns ecosystem. It's like, well, what have they even funded? Or like, how many props are even on chain? Like this thing's been up for a year and a half. Like we barely don't even have like nearly 200 proposals there right now too. But that will show you in the pace of how these things went through and the asks and the people that got funded. It's going to show you the pace of how a DAO actually like naturally is going to operate like this. Like when the holders, founders, and everyone else in between is like putting true thought into how this thing's supposed to operate daily.
We also had a proposal put on chain and got funded for Agora, which allows people to put a profile up if they're interested in delegation. And we've had 3 weeks running debates around contentious proposals on chain. And this past week, 4156, who's one of the Nounders, was in the opposition role just because we have difficult time sometimes finding people that are willing to get up and say their piece in terms of being against a proposal. So it's interesting that the debates begin to happen, that they're happening in public, and the Noun Square has been holding quite a few interesting talks in recent past around some of the inner workings of what's happening.
Yep, it's cool to see them in the spaces. I mean, Seneca, one of the Nounders, has been hardcore running prop house spaces since day one. He like is active on the ground with people who are just entering the ecosystem for the first time. I've always thought that that was just such a cool thing. So it's like not only are they around and like care, but they're still creating protocols within this protocol. And they're super supportive of individuals who are doing the same thing too. So I think that if your project aligns with anything that maybe they're just naturally interested in, that would be a great segue to introduce yourself. And I know that I think Nouns people just kind of like moonbirds anyways. So seeing that little moonbird PFP is always a great sign. We know that you guys are forward thinkers too, and always thinking about what you guys can do. With this DAO, I can't wait. We have to do this moonbird space. We obviously have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I'll connect with you after the show. I've met with, by the way, like I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys meet in real life, but any like just to talk up the proof in Moonbird's ecosystem, I just met with somebody the other day, and they newly came into the ecosystem. They went to Art Basel. They met with other Moonbirds. They whatever, yada yada yada. Everybody's cool as shit. Like it really kind of weird. Like I used to say this to. I used to be a personal trainer for like a decade. I had my own company, and I used to say everybody hits their or everybody eventually ends up in their like their level of the stratosphere, right? Like if you're this type of person, you kind of end up with that type of client, and if you're that type of person, you end up with that type of client. And it's like really interesting to see where people are settling within this little tiny world that we're in, and it's not good or bad. It's just like you tend to truly somehow find, even if it's you're using like anecdotal sort of uh evidence to find who you think is the right group for you. But it's cool to see that we the noun, like I think the nouns and maybe the proof ecosystem people tend to be like a little bit more serious, a little bit older, slightly not old, but just a little bit older, whereas that's not the case for everybody else. So it's a nice thing, and it really has brought like value to my in real life stuff, because I meet people. I live in New York City. I meet people all the time in real life now, centered around like basically only NFTs, but mostly like Moonbird stuff. So very, very, very cool and additive social aspect to my life.
Oh, definitely.
Hi, neighbor.
Yeah.
That's something we were talking about earlier. You probably heard, like when we were doing the IRL event recently, where Noun sponsored it. and just how you find your people just in conversation as well. And yeah, I think that plays into that same hierarchy thing, like the different style of people around eventually find their place in different social hierarchies and things like that. So you end up finding your people on all levels, like with all actions and expressions as a human, I think. So, and it's rad, like you said, this time in the cycle, the people that are around doing anything at the moment and building, I think this is where you find all the best people. And yeah, it's crazy because it's so hard to see through the noise when everything's pumping. Like that's part of the cycle is just insane. You can't keep up. You can't see people for who they are, and it's just
It's a,
unless you're still head down building.
it becomes market price action talk. But
Yeah.
speaking of speaking of market price action talk, I want to do you guys mind if I change the subject real quick? I actually own a noun, kind of. So I
Ooh.
bought. Okay, here's the story. Okay, you ready? So it was 2021, and fractionalized noun. So it's kind of like Shark DAO, I guess, but it wasn't Shark DAO. It was fractionalized. I believe it was noun 140 something or so. I can look it up. But the whole thing is like it kind of like I think the project kind of fell apart a little bit. The way that I learned about it is through my friend has the fourth noun ever, and he wanted this fractionalized noun thing to take place, so he proposed it, and then they did it, and then I think I bought one, part of it for 1 ETH, which there were, I think it was 40 something ETH it sold for. But are you guys like? I mean, that's the specific story, and it would be great to see, like, if you guys were like, "Oh, Mike, yeah, actually, that project is like still whatever. You can go here and like you'll meet the other owners, and you guys like sell your shares
Well,
or whatever." But um,
interestingly, there's actually been multiples of that sort of thing. Tessera did this as well. I'm working on a platform called Nouns Nations with Ripe, which is kind of similar. It's more of like a marketplace for people to find each other to fractionalize a noun and then boot up a DAO with that noun at the core. Um, so that's
Forgeries. This.
another angle. Forgeries is kind of that, but
Yeah.
one person will end up with the real noun with forgeries. But
Nounlets.
yeah, Nounlets is they're the Nounlets from Tessera. They created Nounlets. That's right. And then you've got people that are just like groups of friends who have got together and throw a multi-sig together and pull a bunch of ETH together and then start bidding on nouns. So there's a few different ways that it's happened so far already. I think the one you're talking about, I'm trying to remember what the platform was called that they used for it, but I believe it got sold off again, right?
no, it hasn't. That's why I'm doing a little investigation here. It's noun 143, by the way, and um,
What
shit,
platform was it fractionalized through?
I don't know, man. It was so long ago, but if I mean, if anybody knows, I've gone into the Discord before and I've been like, yo, what's going on with this now and everybody. But the other thing I wanted to say was I actually own some lost nouns and found nouns. And I did that. I like just went on some sort of geeky wallet
Nice.
noun. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, I just said nice. I love lost nouns.
Yeah, I love them too. I thought they were going to be like interesting, and found nouns were like also fun and interesting. And I thought like they were going to be a thing, but are they a thing?
Well, I mean, that found nouns is interesting because you can only mint from the contract. But I think as far as the thing, the thing is just people like us being interested in that, going, oh wow, these are fancy, like a rad little thing to do, and just like collect them in your wallet. I don't think there's any um, utility beyond kind of just cultural keepsakes, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
like owning a piece of history.
yeah.
That's why I got it. I was like, these things are, cool and nobody cares about them right now, but I think they're cool, so I'll get them.
Yeah,
Plus,
exactly. And
Yeah.
lost nouns in particular, there's only 404, and they're finished now. And it was created by a group of really cool people in the ecosystem. So I think, like, yeah, I think long term they're going to have some significance for sure, because they were made out of the traits that never made it into the original protocol, and yeah, so it's super interesting. It's kind of like doing some NFT archaeology stuff in real time and just sort of holding on to it for the future.
What's the one with 404?
Lost Nouns. It started at 0, and then it went up to 403, and there's no others.
Yeah, well, they made an
So
addition
it's
for
Lost Noun 404 is not found. It doesn't exist.
Toshi got hosed on her Lost Noun.
No, I did, but I'm happy to have one. And really cool things about like lost nouns and stuff is like later, if Nouns ever throws events, like we can token proof basically all these different contract addresses of all these different Nounish extensions. So that could be something, a use case for those as well. I love the lost noun. Yeah, and it is like collecting art, because it's almost like collecting the sketches that didn't make it into the real collection.
Yeah,
there's like really
I love
funny
my lost noun. It's phenomenally ugly.
I love that. Just
are the found nouns ones that are free that we minted with the low gas ban? Was that them?
Yeah, exactly. Found nouns is basically lost nouns, but there's tons more. And yeah, you can mint 10 per wallet from memory, and it's direct from contract. Whereas lost nouns had an actual interface.
Yeah, there's a ceiling of 10,000 for that collection, and it's somewhere in the 3,300 minted so far.
That's crazy. There's not more going.
Yeah, it really is. But it kind of shows, I guess, like the
bubble.
Well, yeah, or just the people that need to, like the people interested in that. Firstly, you've got to understand how to mint from a contract, which isn't really hard. But if you've never done it before and you're kind of new to the space and new to wallets and things, it's like pretty daunting, I guess. And first, you've got to find out to do that. Like, where are you even seeing this information now? You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen anything about found nouns for a little while, and then when you talk about it, then you talk about it with a few other friends, and then it's like a word of mouth spreads for a little while, and then it's all quiet again, and it's sort of like not many people can find it if there's no like marketing team or people actively sharing it anywhere. So I think like times like this right now is where if you're interested in found nouns, you could go and find the contract and find some nouns.
They literally have a Twitter page with the directions, and that's the only post that they put up since that's it. It just sits there, nothing else. They say nothing else. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love that kind of thing. That's why I'm a huge fan of the ... So I don't have them as my profile picture at the moment because the psyop Pepe Frog is just too fun. But the dots have been just fascinating to me, how that's set up and the mint mechanism, and same sort of thing, a mint from contract. The collection will be capped at 10,000, but you can only mint up to the dollar price in ETH. So right now there's only about 4,800 that have been minted, and ETH has to exceed that all-time high price in USD to even make that contract work again. So can't even mint the whole collection until ETH goes past 10,000 US. I found that just cool and fun, so I got involved in those.
Gotta pump it up. Pump it all the way up.
Exactly.
Ethereum. I love Ethereum. I love Vitalik. I just love him so much. My new strategy is to absolutely answer all of his Farcaster casts, because he doesn't have like a lot of friends on there yet. So at some point in time, maybe I'll say something just clever enough to be noticed by Vitalik.
We've reached the Senpai Notice Me part of the show.
I have a lot of people
Love it.
Notice me.
I'll get involved as
you
well.
mean like all of the...
Have you noticed Toshi?
all the Housewives ENSs that you bought?
Yeah, and are currently for sale for 10 ETH each. I'm just saying. Probably not high enough. Probably not high enough. It's been such a joy having you up here. Just another MFer. Just another Moonbird. Not just another Moonbird. Probably one of the better, more cooler, active Moonbirds. So
that's right.
I give you a follow there. Everybody
give
likewise. Just MFer a follow so we can pester both communities when we do this awesome collab space. We do have some things to just quickly do for
Yeah,
Lite. I love these Lite shows because they end up actually being longer than normal shows.
I was
I love
going to
me.
say, this is one of those classic Light shows that we end up having amazing discussions and going into detail on how things work. And I love it. This is my
Yeah.
favorite thing. We don't have to
Where
sort
light is in heavy air quotes.
of... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
have a
have
question. Was it noun 143 that you have a fraction of? Just an
no
MFR? Was it 143? I
140.
was just trying to find the right one.
It
That,
was
that's
140.
yeah,
The
Yeah, the
interesting
It was the
thing about
Illuminati
140.
saw.
So the saw?
correct.
Oh,
Interesting. They've never
I would
voted.
love to know which platform was used to
Yeah, we
fractionalize,
got to
if you
figure
can
that out.
remember what it's called.
Yeah.
it looks like it was one, and then the holder changed the delegation to a different address, and then they've never voted.
Then nothing.
So
yeah,
I
it's really
bet
weird.
that now sitting in a delegated wallet, and maybe it's like the
It's
mechanism
probably,
of how you guys vote is just not going down or something.
yeah, it's probably because of the way that it was fractionalized. There's no single person able to vote, or a multi-sig or something. I don't know. That's why I want to figure out what
It's
platform
something
it is.
weird. Yeah, we'll do a little investigation on this because now I'm really curious. But
Well,
really, the reason I came up to the stage was, what did you guys do during FOMO? Because that's
We FOMO
amazing.
do a flamingo.
Oh,
Oh
yay!
my God. You didn't just
Oh my
FOMO
God.
a flamingo. You FOMO'd the best looking
Yeah, I
nouns
know, the all
flamingo
pink
ever.
So good, huh?
Holy
disco
crap, it's
nogs.
good.
It's basically the same as 276. The only thing that's different is the noggle in the background.
The noggles are
Technically, the
just better.
shirt is also a
Noggles
different
are
color.
better. Slightly.
Technically, the shirt is also a different color, but
the body, yeah, definitely.
yeah, the body itself
It's
is
amazing.
I think this one is gunk and 276 is red, I want to say, but
I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
but it's got the
this
same.
I
is
only
really
have this in my brain
stunning.
because of you, Prof. This is your fault that I'm
I
like
know.
this.
I'm sorry. I apologize
No,
for
you're
my
not.
influence on you. But this is really like a stunning flamingo. So I'm going to add this to my earlier request. Yes, we'll also be happy to have this delegated to us. Because I don't think I'm going to win it at 0.06.
To
But if I
Florida's,
do,
yeah.
I mean, I'm here for it, but I have a feeling somebody will probably outbid my 0.06 ETH bid. But I just wanted to thank you all for FOMOing that because that's amazing.
Well, I'm happy that you said something about it. Maybe
Meanwhile,
you
bed body.
desire. Oh,
And
Ben.
I'm already outbid. Thanks, Ben.
Ben, that
I'm
was
sorry, I
salty.
was already doing it
That
when
was
you
so
said
Ben,
it.
salty.
Ben, why are you like this?
That was
It
the
was
salty.
already going through. I'd already pressed confirm, and then you said, "But someone's probably going to outbid me." I was like, "Oh, timing."
That was perfect.
Well,
Art.
I don't think I'm going to get it for 0.069 either.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
If you do, we've got bigger problems.
You got very big problems.
Maybe.
well, if someone buys it and they already are in an excess of abundance and they feel like they could maybe delegate this flamingo down to our resident flamingo herself, the Nounish Prof, I think that would be a pretty good move there. That's what I would do. If once I get just
I would love for that to happen. Yes.
I'm just going to stack nouns one day and I will just designate them to the people who I imagine are those noun heads.
Yeah.
Let's bring it to the mayor of Miami's attention.
Yeah, Mayor of Miami. I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can be like, buy this financial product. Except it isn't really a financial product as much as it is a token. But that
Stop
is
saying that. No, it's not. It's a governance token. It's not a financial product.
Yes, more about DAOs with Just DAO It with Nounish Prof and Toady on Fridays. That goes down at 4 p.m. We do have a retweet winner here. I want to start giving out these prizes. I know you guys have just been so good and hanging on for so long. Congrats, PNC down there with the cone head, in the carrot shirt, just like our favorite resident cone head 9999. Congratulations. Thank you so much. You just won 0.069 ETH. Just for hanging out here, just for as soon as you came in this room, you did the right thing. You retweeted it and you stayed the whole time. So thank you so much. We always have so much to learn, especially in this space today. That was incredible. If POAPs are ready, I'm sure we've gone way past the time. I don't know if you guys fixed it. Let me know if you need a minute there.
The platform for Noun 143 is called nouns.party.
Was it through Party DAO? I wonder if it was through Party DAO.
Yeah, I think if that's what nouns.party was
party,
for,
yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I can see it here now.
Well done, Ben. That was quick. You did good.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah,
ending
it just
space until
occurred to
we
me
figure
that
out.
I could search the Nouns Discord for the original bids and then follow the trail.
Ooh.
Oh, right, that exists.
Yeah, that was a good way to go. That was a good way to go.
Yeah, I was just shooting in the dark before that. I'm like, how did I find this?
Yeah, I was looking at Etherscan trying to figure it out, and I couldn't. Like,
No,
I hit a
exactly.
block.
Yeah.
So good,
So,
good. I'm
so
glad you
then
figured
it's
it
still
out.
operating. So it's confusing, right? Because it's still operating, but it doesn't seem to have the mechanism where the winners, if you do win, you can then collaborate in like an efficient and intelligent way. So I don't know that maybe there's a little bit of a gray area here. So
You should
it's
find
still,
your
I mean,
other party DAO members and like team up with them and figure out what's going on here because you guys could
I don't even
totally
know who
vote.
they are. I don't even. Yeah,
Oh man.
that's
Well, we're gonna help
I
you.
know
We're gonna
Floyd
help
was
you
part of
figure
this
it out.
project. You might be able to ask him.
We will help you.
yeah. You can connect me. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll link you.
I don't want to take up too much time on like this. This seems like a selfish endeavor at this point. But if anybody wants to
No,
help me
this is
track,
great. This is like
Not
finding
at
a
all,
real
because
life
this is
lost man.
yeah, there's a noun that's not and it's not voting. So we want to make sure we get you to figure that part out.
that'd be wonderful. Thank you, everybody.
That is so fun. Can you imagine being like, oh yeah, sometime last year I forgot I fractionalized a noun. Like if you guys end up figuring this out and getting to vote with this thing, this would be huge. Like happened here on the
Great
Noun
story.
Square. We'll match your fractionalized noun back with your community. All you got to do is just tell us which noun number it is, and Ben has to be co-host, and then we will be able to complete all said requests.
I'm all about it. Let's go. I can see here that the way that they were fractionalizing it with this is the vote ended up being held by fractional.art vault, and the community is unable to vote with it. However, teams in the process of creating a community governance module which will enable the auction contributors to build a community around their noun and have voting power. So this actually sounds a little bit like Nations. Very interesting.
It's to Sarah. It isn't fractional.art, Andy. I think that's to Sarah now.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Like an
100%
early
on
stage
that.
of it.
Pretty sure. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I
I think
it was the first version of it.
right. Well, they've still got.
So it might be really
Both
easy
up.
to figure this out.
Should be
Yeah.
interesting because they just did a CryptoPunk and someone sent their fraction over to Solana. So I don't know that anyone's going to be able to vote with it, or they'll be able to sell it while they're trying to do that right now. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm gonna look
Yeah,
into it.
watch out, Zach XBT. We're coming in hot.
We've got Ben Bodie.
This is great. It's like the Nounish like adoption center. Like I really need you guys to vote with this noun. This is like now a new Nounish story that I didn't know was happening. It's
I'm just wondering, like, how surely there's something in control of it that can delegate across to Federation and then allow everyone holding tokens to use that to vote. There's got to be a way. There has to be a way. A lot of stuff's been built since then, so I think there's definitely a way, and I'm happy to keep digging.
Yeah, I think fractional.art is Tessera now. So that is the correct group. So I think maybe even popping in that Discord might be helpful.
Oh yeah. Be like, hey guys, back from the dead, party DAO. How do we vote?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wait, which Discord should I go into?
To Sarah's.
Sarah.
I'll link it to you.
Cool.
I got you.
Incredible. If you ever lose a noun, or if you ever delegate it out and forget where, just come here to the Noun Square. Ryan,
I feel there's a new Robot Fish Girl commercial coming. Have you lost your noun?
or yeah, it's very like Maury, like who's the father, but nouns.
Here on the Noun Square, you can ask Ben Body to chase it down on chain. For just the price of a cup of coffee a day, you too can support. No, I'm done.
You don't have to be. This is how we're eventually going to get random other sponsors, by just like continuing to make these fake sponsorship commercials. Speaking of which,
I've got like 3 that are half done, so we can do it.
We do want Ryan to give the POAP, but I do want everyone to be reminded POAPs are digital. But you know what's not digital? Just a good old-fashioned letter. And you know where you have to go for those? The post office, and that sucks. So
Oh my God.
From the post office, and you just want to do it from home, stamps.com is probably for that. Stamps.com. Don't forget to enter the code the Noun Square for 10% off of shipping through all of the U.S. International coming soon. Ryan Mack, take it away with the POAP.
You're too convincing of that.
No, it was a great ad read. Here you can go over to poap.xyz or download the POAP app. When you open the POAP app, you hit the mint button in the bottom right corner, then the secret word tab. And today's secret word is Dad, is that you? All lowercase, all one word with a question mark.
Daddy's coming home.
Yeah, it must be.
You can't
Incredible.
tell. Super excited.
Is he coming home or is he just selling more things? You know? What's happening?
Well, he sells stuff, so yeah.
What can us does? What's the difference?
Does he now come into like the group that's basically been running MFers and say, hi, I'm back. Thank you so much.
No, he did a final piece called Goodnight MFers, and everyone thought like they got ripped off and like it was just bad art. But his new collection, you have to hold that piece to be able to get it. So it actually has value now.
Oh, wait. I think I have that.
This is why.
Yeah, the good.
That's perfect. I was just going to say, this is why you get things like Lost Nouns and stuff. Because like you could kind of do the same thing with new drops and stuff. And like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were like dirt cheap today and now they're just flying. So yeah, it's good for everybody that he's back.
Wow. Well, I have to go end this show now so I can go write a song that has all the emotions that I'm feeling from Sartoshi being back. We have a lot of soapboxes coming up next week, guys. Monday is crazy. Nounsy Sports, Fora Builder Brazil, Little Nouns, Milk and Cookies. Then if you're really smart on Tuesday morning, you got to come for the AI call. But only if you're really, really smart. If you're not smart, don't come to that one. It'll not make you feel good. Love the light shows, guys. So much fun.
Thanks for hosting, Toshi. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Thank you, Stamps.com.
Thanks for the flamingo.
Thank you, Ray.
Good to be back.
Go out, go have some fun. Go tell some people about nouns at the club. DM Ben Body and say, I want the nouns vision. Please. We're going straight to Brazil in the morning. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. I'll see you there. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, just another MFer, our new friend. Man, I thought I was tired. I'm getting pumped now. I'm not tired anymore.